Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Dory Zoo. Last time we made a boardwalk theme to fit the red foxes and Tasmanian devils for our Tasmanian Trek section. Today we are going to finalize it with a brand big new kangaroo and wallaby exhibit. I will warn you, this is going to be a much longer video because we have a lot of things to do. So we're going to spruce up the entrance. We're gonna and of course we're gonna build some side stuff, and then lastly we're gonna have the kangaroo exhibit built. Anyways, let's begin. The plan for this big flat area is to have a model of an abandoned sheep run. So we're going to have like a barn and like a fenced in area. We're not going to have any sheep though, because, we don't got any. And frankly, I'm not sure how comfortable I am using mods. So we're going to keep this zoo vanilla. So maybe in the future I'll do mods. We'll kind of see how that goes. But anyway, we're thinking of kind of having like an educational, kind of land sparing education lesson here, as because British sheep runs or Australian sheep runs, I guess, that the British set up back in the 1800s, did end up impacting the animals who lived nearby. That's why the thylacine or the Tasmanian tiger actually did go extinct because they were perceived as a threat to the livestock, and that people who were running these sheep farms thought that they were dangerous.
fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. We laugh so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
So, just a couple things I want to note is that so when I said I had trouble making exhibits, righteously sized for some animals, where exhibits I make that are just way too big, kangaroos happens to be probably the worst of this because literally the Kansas City Zoo, which I visit quite frequently, and probably the closest zoo to me that has kangaroos, that their exhibit is massive. Like it's one of the largest kangaroo exhibits in the United States. So I keep so I have it like engraved in my head that like, oh, this is the standard, until I actually have to like go out somewhere else, and you see that most kangaroo exhibits are either like just a moated exhibit, or really they're not too large most of the time. You like, I keep thinking that all other kangaroo exhibits are small just because Kansas City's just happens to be so ridiculously large. Granted, this isn't an exact recreation because, for starters, the path at the Kansas City Zoo, it doesn't go through the middle of the exhibit. It actually goes kind of around the edge of the exhibit, while the center is kind of reserved for the kangaroos. So there is some accuracy, but it isn't all that modern, as Kansas City's exhibit was built in 1991. So it's just over. Wait a minute. So it's, goodness, it's like 30 years old. So all things considered, it's still a really good exhibit. It's just not like fresh, it's not like brand new, it's not exactly what you'd call modern, is all. That being said, like the kangaroo portion of the exhibit is actually like perfectly up to date. So Kansas City has actually probably one of the more varied Australian exhibits I've seen. Like most of it's so like kangaroos and like, maybe like a cockatoo or something. No, like Kansas City has what? So they have a full size walk-through aviary, emus, dingoes, wallabies, tree kangaroos, sheep, kookaburras, and camels. And they have like this really nice interpretive center. So they also have a terrarium for Woma pythons in there. So that's really nice. So about it not being the most modern exhibit is that, of course the kangaroo portion's amazing, but then you got the emu, dingo, wallaby, tree kangaroo exhibits. Like those are all kind of average-ish size. It's like what you would expect for the species. It's not, massive like the kangaroo yard, but they each have a decent amount of room. Then you got the sheep pen, which looks a lot older than it actually is. And the same can be said about the camels, even though the exhibits themselves are just standard of what you would expect. The kookaburra exhibit, however, it's rather small, but it actually does have an indoor section, so it's rare that you actually see like a kookaburra exhibit where they can be seen both indoors and outdoors. Usually it's just one or the other. So the camels, not too long ago, they got a feeding deck, so you could go up and like put these put some food into these tubes, and they'll go into this kind of trough, and it's towards the back of the exhibit, so it's not in the Australia section itself, but it's next to their Discovery Barn area. As for the tree kangaroos, they actually got a renovation to their exhibit not too long ago. Fun fact, it used to be walk-through. Like, I mean, granted, what happened is, so you had like an elevated bridge going through the exhibit, but the tree kangaroos couldn't actually like jump up onto the bridge or anything. Unfortunately, they didn't have very much climbing space, so that was unfortunate. But with the new exhibit, granted, while it's a lot more simplistic, they also now have an indoor area, so you could view those year-round as well. Another really nice feature of the Kansas City Zoo's Australia section is they have two entrances. So one's your typical like walk-through gate, and then the other is kind of like three buildings. One's more of an empty lot than actual building that poses kind of the pathway that takes you to the entrance to Australia. Then one of the buildings is a building dedicated to snakes, not just Australian ones. I don't, it's just snakes around the world, just snakes in general. Although I'm not fully sure whether or not that's meant to be in the Australian section or not. It's in the building that connects to their Bluey's restaurant, which has a outdoor like patio slash deck where it actually you can look out as you're eating and just see the big old field where the kangaroos usually hang out for the middle of the day. So that's actually really nice. You know, like sometimes I'll just sit down there, watch the kangaroos from a distance before actually going into the exhibit. If I had to say that there was another exhibit I based this off of, I'll be honest, probably Fort Worth, because, you know, like, here's the thing. Fort Worth doesn't have a walkthrough kangaroo exhibit. They have a path that kind of overlooks the kangaroos, that kind of goes on elevation, so that's where I got a little bit of the inspiration of having the staircase that goes down to the lower portion from. It's definitely not exact in the slightest. It's just a really small element. So yeah, that's it. That's about it as far as inspiration can go. As for why we should have the wallabies in here, for starters, the camel exhibit. Okay, so yeah, it's barely considered adequate for the camels. So by moving the wallabies, I hope that they can, you know, make more use of their space, I suppose. Or if that doesn't work, I could just expand it. So yeah, either way it could be good. Alright, so here's a preview of what's to come for next episode. So we're gonna have our exhibit kind of finalized with kind of like a wetland section. So we're gonna have over in this corner, we're gonna have a platypus, followed by two other exhibits. One for a saltwater crocodile, and the other will be a much larger yard for fallow deer and water buffalo, which are both actually invasive to Australia. So again, you're gonna see that's kind of a recurring theme with this series is that we're just kind of including everything that could, in theory, be in Australia. So another thing I am going to mention is that off camera, we did end up combining the camel and the emu exhibits. Where what we did was we used the kind of the left end of the emu exhibit basically as an underground passageway so that the emus can access the camels and the camels can access the emus. So that problem was solved rather quickly. Another thing I want to say is, okay, so we did get the kangaroos and wallabies in here, so they're all in the exhibit. We actually got an albino kangaroo as well, so it'll be interesting to see if we get some albinos with that. And with the kangaroo exhibit built and everything else figured out, it's safe to say, take care, see zoos, make memories you will not lose. Goodbye, and see you next time.